Hi Philippa, hi Gail, hi Yvonne. Hope you're all good. Now, it's a bit windy here today, so you might hear some scratchy noises, and it's the trees on my shed. Hi Jenny. So, just to pre-warn you, it's not my bones creaking, it's the twigs from the trees on my shed. So, and I will apologise for my grubby hands. I have tried scrubbing them, but I've been doing some inking today and I can't get the ink off, so all good. Oh, Yvonne, you'll be so surprised at how easy it is. I know I say this every week, that it's easy, but honestly, this really is. Hi Christine, good evening. Just hang on for a few more to come on. But while we're doing so, these are the things that I intend to use. Hi Donna. It's the Christmas postage and more stamp set and the vertical Christmas sentiment stamp set. And these will be used to decorate the whole thing. I will also be using some foilables, which I have already foiled in red. Julie's video this morning showed you how to do all that, so I don't have to go through that. Just if you've missed it, go back and have a look at Julie's video from 10:30 this morning, and you will see how to nail the foiling techniques. So I'll just give her, hiya Cynthia, you alright? Okay, there's a few on. I know it's tea time for some, so you'll have to catch the beginning up. So like I've said, I'm using these two stamp sets, and I'm using this die for a tag for them. Good evening Joan. Hi Julie. This came from Hazel's die set. I can't remember which one. I think it might have been the heart-shaped one, but Philippa's on, I see. She'll let you know. It came from that. So it is one of Julie's products. So I shall move those out of the way, and I shall bring in my scoreboard ready, so I can give you all the measurements. Hi Deborah. Oh, you made it. Good, good. So I'm not going to lie with this, girls. You are going to need a lot of card, and you do need 12 by 12 inch because of the measurements and the size of the card that you have to use. But once you see how I've made the actual crate and the actual cartons that go in it, you'll be able to adapt it so that you can either have 2 cartons, 3 cartons, 4 cartons. So it's up to you really how much card stock you're going to use. But yeah, if you do the whole 6, it takes a fair bit of card stock. But you know, it's a one-off, isn't it? And this thing you could use for anything. Not just Christmas, you can use it for Mother's Day, you can use it for baby gifts, put socks in the little cartons, or vests, talc, anything. Whatever you can think of, you can use. So I'm going to start off by making the crate. Okay, so we've got 6.5 inches by 8 3/4 inches. And this is going to make the base for the crate. All you do for this is score it all the way around on all 4 sides at 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch. Obviously this is for the 6 crate. If you're doing it smaller, make your crates first, measure the base of them together, and then you can adjust your card stock to, you know, to make your own size crate. Then it's fairly easy to do, I would imagine. Once you made one, you know how to do it. So I'm just going to dig my scissors out. So before I do any cutting, I think I'll do some stamping on this. So I'm just going to grab out my foam I have here, because I want to do a bit of random stamping. I am going to fold them so I know not to go. I'm just going to give them a little gentle fold so I know not to go past that mark. Okay, so we've got that there, and I'll get my nifty little gadget. My hands are too sore with big gadgets. I can't hold them. So I've got my little one, and I'm going to use, I think I'll use this green leaf, seeing as I'm going to use that in a minute, and it'll be all ready. Hiya, Jill. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Something a bit different, isn't it, than a card? So, I've got my little stamp, and I'm using the fir tree, I don't know, sprig thing from the Postage and More set. It's this one here. But you can use any to decorate the bottom. And I am going to use this to decorate one of the fronts of the crates. So I might as well keep it out and use it now. Okay. So it's literally random stamping. Twist it whichever way you want to twist it. Try and keep it within the realms. This is just when you take the crates out, you'll see how cute the bottom will look, you know. Just put a few on just to decorate it, really. Twist it round, put it in different variations. If you want to do a half one, then fold it over and just stamp on half. It's fairly easy to do. I'm just going to randomly put a few on here so you can see a nice design on the bottom when you remove the crates. As I've said, I'll just fold that over. I'm just being lazy now. When I'm doing random stamping like this, I much prefer to use a block. I think I'll do a half one on there. And this is just an old piece of foam I had from a previous stamp platform that didn't last too long. So there we go, that'll do. So now we've got the stamping done, I'm going to show you how to snip into the four corners. Now all we need to do really is go down one of the sides of the little tabs on the end and cut it to an edge. You know, take a mitre off it then. Doesn't matter which way you cut it, as long as you only cut one side. You know, you don't want to cut the tab off completely. So I just tend to go round in do one at a time, all four. Doesn't matter which way they go, because they've got to be glued together anyway. So you end up with your four tabs, and then it's ready to put together. So I'm gonna fold it this way now, burnish it backwards, burnish these in as well, and then I'm going to glue it and peg them. She says that she can find the pegs. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've only got big pegs off the line, but they'll do and it'll dry. Now, when you put this together, normally when you're making a box, you would put this on the inside. But by putting them all on the inside, you kind of take like a millimetre off the inside, and because it's measured quite well, then I suggest you glue it on the outside. Now, you're not going to see these bits because you're going to be putting corners on there, right? So what I suggest you do is just take a little tiny bit off each tab end so that you don't see them behind the corner struts. Doesn't matter how much you take off. As long as you leave enough to glue it, it's fine. Okay? So remove them, and I'm going to pop some glue on the edge of each tab, on the inside of it, obviously, because it's going on the outside of the box. And then I'm just going to clip it with a peg from the line. There we go. I've had no need for the pegs on the line today. They would not have stayed on in the storm we had. All the clothes that were blown away. It's been a ridiculous storm today. But it has cooled the air a bit, so I can't complain. So, there we are. And this one, last one up, going on the outside. There we are, 4 pegs. That will keep it tight held while we get on with making the crate. And then we'll come back to this. Okay. And put it together. So, for the crate, you will need a piece of card that measures 9 inches by 10 1/4. 9 inches by 10 1/4. So, if you leave the 10 1/4 at the top, we are going to score at 3/4 of an inch, 2 1/4 inches, and then 8 1/8 inch. Okay, then you turn it round and you score it at 1/2 inch, 2 1/8. 1, 2, I can never count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Four and 5, 6. Yeah, 4 6/8. Sorry, and 1 notch under 7. I'll put the measurements up later for them. Okay, so make sure that you've got them right before you go any further. Now, where you can see you have the 2 lines, that is the top, and that's going to form like a kind of milk carton effect. So I'm just going to get my bone folder out and go for it. There we go. That one. And that one. Okay, so we're doing it like that. And it will fold wherever you want it to go when it's time to put the crate together. I always fold it both ways, and then you know you're gonna move the card wherever it needs to be. You're breaking the fibres. So put all your burnish lines in, and then you can see where you're going. This little 1/4 inch one at the side is going to end up as your tab, and then we can put all the others in. So, I mean, it's not a difficult one to make. It's quite an easy box to do, really. And I think you can. Yeah, I've actually fitted a candle in these some times gone by as well. Last one. There we go. There we are. So we will now take off this tiny rectangle in this corner. I think I've got bigger scissors somewhere. Help with bigger scissors. Yeah. There we are. You can go straight up there and remove that rectangle. And then I'm just going to put a little mitre on that as well, because I always do like to. And then we remove the top 2 rectangles, the little ones. There we go. And then we cut up each of these deep 4. This one, always keep the 2 folds that you've got at the top, and then you can't go wrong. So we're going to cut up the bottoms, and this will form the base then of the carton. Okay. Now, at this point, what I like to do is put the tape on ready, but I'm not actually going to glue it first, you know, tape it down, because I want to just show you a little tip when it comes to working out which one is your front panel. Okay, there we go. So what I like to do is fold it up, and this edge that I'm gluing, I like to have it at the back so you can't see it, you know, it's not seen. So in that way you can work out which panel is going to be your front. So there's my seam at the back, this is my front panel here. So I'm just going to put a cross on that one, because that's the one I know I have to decorate. Okay, there we go. So that's got to be decorated. Therefore, this bottom one, I want to keep that one whole, but the other 3 I will mitre. Makes it easier to put your box together and have a nice square base if you've got at least one of them that stays as square. Okay, so just carefully do a little mitre on them others and leave that one whole. It is easy, honestly, it really is. it looks more difficult than it is. The kinds of projects I like, the ones that look complicated but really haven't took long to put together. This takes a little while because there's so many crates, but you know. So the next thing I like to do before I glue this together is decorate this front. Now I put a cross on here. You don't need to do this next bit. You can go straight onto this carton with your stamping. But I'm going to put a panel on it. So I'm going to stamp on the panel first and then I'm going to add it to there. So I'll just grab a spare bit of card to rest that on so I don't get ink all over me. And I've already got 5 made here. So that's why I've chosen this one, because I haven't used this stamp on any of those crates. So effectively I have used all of the little tiny stamps of Julie's on that postage to make this. So here we go, just a bit of random stamping. Twist it, turn it, whatever you want to do with it. Put a full one on there. And a bit at the bottom. There we go, that will do. And now we can glue this bit onto the one with the cross on, because we know that one's the front. Okay. And I am going to glue this, not tape it. Hi Angela, thank you for joining us. Okay, straight over there and onto that front panel, and then I'm going to use the back of that to press it down. There we are, it's on. So now we can start to put this together. Okay, so as you can see, if you lay it down, this one will fold exactly over on the top of it. So now I've got to pull this tape off and add a bit of glue. I always put both glue and tape. Try not to let it go over the edge there, because it'll only end up catching. There we are. So lay it down in the middle and then you can push that one on top of it. Okay. Again, use the spare bit of card to press down on, and the card will absorb the excess glue that's been put on there. Okay, and now it comes to the base. Alright, we've got 3 mitered ones and 1 square one. So start with your mitered ones. Put 1 bit of glue on there. Try and keep it square, but then once you put this one down, it'll square it up anyway. Bit of glue on that one. And then your squared mitered one, unmitered one rather. That one can go down as well. Now, at this point you can square it up so it looks nice. And from the front now, you've got no joins, you've just got to fold. Okay, so once you've got it down, get yourself a ruler or something long. I'm going to have to give it a push. There we go. Oh, I did forget to do something. I did. Okay, so now we're going to go down these at the front, and then down there, all 4 sides. Okay, these 2 little rectangles on the end of here you don't actually need, so you can take them off, that one, and do the one opposite it as well. So you've got 2 bits that go in like that. Preferably cut them straight, not like me. I am useless with scissors, like I've told you before. There we are. So the 2 side panels go in, and then these 2 come down and join each other at the top to create your box. Okay, so from there we need to put some things on it. We need to make it fancy. The front panel isn't enough. We need to do more. So I've got my crop dial thing here, and what I'm going to do is hold the 2 end pieces, and I'm going to punch 2 holes using the big whole side, not the small one, she says, using the small one. Isn't it annoying when your fingers don't work properly because you've worked all day? Right, okay, big hole there, leave a little space and do a big hole on the other side as well. Try and line it so it's roughly straight, but don't worry too much if it's not. Okay, we've got the holes in. And now for the string or ribbon or whatever you're putting in. I love this little hack. See the way your ribbon always does that? So if you tie a piece of it there, you can keep it tight and just reel off what you want. I love this. That is the best hack ever, and you can just pull off what you want as well. So, loving that hack. So I've matched the ribbon to the colour of the stamping on the front with this one. And now we thread it through and tie a bow. Okay. But thread it through. And then either just tie it in a bow, or if you're putting a tag on it like I am. So what I've done is I've used that little die that I showed you before. And I've cut a tag out, and then using the vertical sentiment, and I've used all of the vertical sentiments on these crates, and you'll see all the different sentiments on them in a minute when I show you the others. But I've got this tag, and I'm going to thread that tag onto it as well. Okay. And then you can tie yourself a bow. And then that's how you create the crates. Easy. But I do have a little bit of something to put on the top of here as well. Just a little bit of a foilable. So get your bow where you want it. A bit smaller than that, I would think. I'll do. And then just trim the ends. I think I'll just do them sort of slanted, because that's how I've done all the others. Slant the edges. Don't need too much off this side. There we go. So that's one crate. Now I've got some little bits here. Let's see. I've got some. I'll show you the others in a minute. I've got a little sprig of holly to pop on the top. Now also with this as well, you don't have to put a panel on. You don't have to decorate it. You can also get one of Julie's rectangle dies, cut the rectangle out and make an acetate front part for it, you know, like a window as well. You don't really need to put panels on, but it's up to you, it's up to you. So I'll bring in the ones I've done already to show you. So I did one with all the postage marks on, and I added red ribbon and a red sentiment for that one, and I've got a nice little foilable up there done in red, and this one same foilable, but I used the poinsettia stamp, the little tiny one that's in the postage set. And then I went with the Christmas tree and the Merry Christmas vertical sentiment for that one, the Merry Christmas stamp and the snowflake stamp, and I've put Merry and Bright on that one, and the Happy Christmas circle, love that, and I've put Let It Snow and a little bit of holly on the top of there. Now I've got 3 red and 3 green, right? So I'm going to pop them to one side, and we'll crack on with this crate now, because this should be dry, and it is. Okay, so next thing we need is to make some corners, okay? And all that is piece of card that is 4 1/4 by 2 inches, okay? And you score it at 1 inch. So I'm just going to rub out, I've got a rubber here somewhere, I'm just going to rub that pencil mark out. That's a strut. 1, 2, 3. Is that a corner? Yeah, that's a corner. So there we go. Now these struts you can have as tall as you want, really. Yep, there are my 4 corners. That's a strut. So, all we need to do is add some glue to there and pop the corners on there. Like that, nice and flush. Okay, I hope you can see that. That's how we're going with it. So, oh, I've got it written on there as well. Overzealous with the writing it on. Now, I think when I did Julie's, the one I sent to Julie and the one that you'll receive as a prize, I put some Hazel's papers on the side of these. Not on the corners, but on the struts. Now, I've got no papers left of Hazel's. But if you've got like a wood grain embossing folder or something like that, you could use that and put them on as if it was wood. So I'm just going to measure it with my finger. So I need about 1 inch up. So I'm going to put glue along there and along the bottom. It's important that it sticks, obviously, because it is the corner. And then you just line it up on the edge there and hold it for a minute, or you can peg it, put pegs in it again, which will hold it up nicely. So that's what we'll do. It doesn't take long for it to grab, okay? Just make sure it's flush with the bottom. And then we go around each one, kind of measure where you want the glue to be, and pop it on, flush with the base. It's easier if you work it on the table, because then the table is going to give it the bottom part to sit with against the crate. So there we go, 2. It's always a good idea to check whether your crates fit in at this point, really, before you go any further, because that'd be a shame, wouldn't it, putting all this effort in and then it didn't fit. But you just have to make another base, really. Yeah, they fit fine. Okay, so glue it in. Line it up. Steal the pegs from the first one and work your way around. So now you can see, if you only wanted to make one that was 3 wide or 2 wide, you can change it. Just make the crates first and measure the base. See, I told you it was easy. There we go. Let's pop one of them on there. There we go. Let's have them glued. Let's leave that to one side. So now we need some things to go across it. Struts, as I've called them. So you will need 4 long ones that measure 2 inches by 6.5 inches. Okay, and again, you just fold it in half or score it at 1 inch. You can put single ones on if you want. You don't have to put them doubled like I have, but I found that it does make for a stronger crate if you do this, if you double up your cardstock. Okay, so I've got them ones doubled there. They're all ready. And then you need, obviously, some shorter ones for the side. So the short struts for the side are 2 inches by 4.25 inches. Okay. Oh, I don't need to rub that out because I'm going to glue it. And again, score it at 1 inch so that it folds together nicely and creates a double thickness. So we have 4 smaller struts and 4 larger struts. Okay. Let's see where we're going now. So if you lay your crate down on its side, you can put this in, gauge it. I hope you can see that. I'm just going to wait for the computers to catch up. Yeah, you can see it. So we're going to put one there and one there. Okay, so glue on the side of it, and the folded part, the bit that had the fold on, I'm going to put upwards because that looks neater. Okay, so just kind of line it up Try and get your struts. You can line it up against your, you know, your glass mats and get the dimensions of it right between each one. So you know it's straight, but it's easy enough to do by eye, to be fair. And it's a homemade crate, so if it's a little wonky, it doesn't matter. I'm going to pop that one in there. I like to leave a little gap at the top. I just think it looks cute with a gap. You can put 3 thinner ones in if you like. Totally up to you. Okay, and then I turn it on its side. And then you can see, if you look in there, where your side struts are going to go and sit kind of in a similar position. But then again, if you want to make a difference and not have it, you know, sort of sitting right next to each other, then you don't have to. Now the struts I've made, they don't go right across from one end to another. But if you want to make them longer, totally up to you. There we are. So, in there it goes. Give it a good press down. Make sure it's straight. And then again, turn it on its side. Now, you just repeat the same thing that you've just done, and you've got the side ones to mark where you need to be now. You can lay them on with the side guides. There we are. That one done. Slide it into position. And then turn it over and do the last 2 sides. So far so simple. Has anybody got any questions while I'm just doing a little bit of gluing? No? No questions? Okay. Let's pop these in. There we are. In. And the last one. Pop that in. And give it a good press. Okay. So, we now have a crate. Very simple to do. What's next? Okay, yeah. So I decided I wanted to put something on the front of my crate. So I used Julie's dinky rectangle and cut it out of red. And I have one of the foilables done in red as well. And I'm just going to put this on for a little bit of dimension with some foam tape. Jill, this is easy. I think sometimes people look at the whole project and think, I'll never be able to make that. And yeah, I used to do the same, but if you just take it like and break it down into each little piece. Yes, you could get a bottle of wine in this, no problem, Jean. A mini bottle, no worries. I have tried. Yeah, if you break it down into smaller chunks, it's easy. It's easy to do. You know, rather than look at the whole thing and think, never do that, never do that. Just break it down. Okay, so now I'm going to put that on the side. Wishing you a season of happiness, a season of good cheer, and to top it all off, have a happy new year. So I'm going to put some glue on the middle strut here. And I'm going to pop that on the middle one at the front of my crate. There we go. 6 different, oh yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good, Julie. I haven't eaten them for a very long time. I went on holiday on a cruise one time and we stopped on a day out. I can't remember what it was, but they had massive cone clear bags and a pick and mix of Lindt chocolate, and I went absolutely mental and filled the whole thing, and then me and my partner ate it before we'd even got back to the boat, and we couldn't even eat tea that night because we felt so sick. So there's a story for you. So now you can pop, I tend to do it so that you put your nice parts to the front and your plain parts to the back, and I think I'm going to put On the front of it, I've got 2 red and a green. And if you turn it round, I've got 2 green and a red. There we go. 1 crate, 6 boxes. I'll hold it tight. And then you can see, oh no, there's no way my eyes are that big. So there you go, easy enough to do, guys. Now I did find a really amazing hack today, and I can't remember. Oh, I've got some more foilables here. I think I'll decorate these. Yeah, why not? I'm going to put some on there, on the box too. So I fully decorated a foilable, and I've cut one out there so it's a bit 3D, and I think I shall put one behind there. Maybe just a small one, I don't know. I'm all spoilt now because I've got that many foilables. Maybe use that big one for something else at some point. I clearly had a plan because I've got lots of them. There we go. I don't know what to put on there. Should have put one on? Yeah, I think I'll just put one. So here we are. I've got a bit of double-sided foam pad on the back there. I'm just going to pop that one on there and glue it on here. And that's it. I'm going to step away from it and show you the little hack that I wish I'd thought of but didn't. There we are. That completes it, doesn't it? Look, a nice dimensional. So this crazy little hack that I found today, and I'm so pleased with it. You're going to see it on everything now, I'm telling you now. So the hack is this. You know, like we all emboss with, or we use glossy accents on our sentiments. So I've seen this online and it's blown my mind. Sellotape. Put the sellotape down. So trim the sellotape off. Okay, trim off what you don't need or fold it under, either or. Then lay your sentiment across the sellotaped area. Okay. And run it through your die cutting machine. And it cuts beautifully. Julie's dies always cut beautifully. And then when it's done, I'm not even sure you're going to be able to see this, but it looks and feels like it's been embossed or glossy accented. And it honestly, it looks amazing. It feels a bit thicker as well, obviously, because it's now got sellotape on top of it instead of just cardstock. And then I cut a bit out from behind there. Get me little dabber. I'll use the back of this to add the sticky to it. And then you can glue that super shiny sentiment onto its back plate. Very easy. And it's got lots of shine on it. How about that? She's clearly never put enough glue on the back of that. Is everyone finding though, even though the weather's really awful and rainy, it's still really warm? That's my glue. That's my excuse for the glue not sticking. Look at that. How clever is that? I don't know whether you can see the shine on that. Let me just see, wait for the computer to catch up. But that is so clever. So now I'll be hunting for a big wide sellotape so that I can do the wider happy birthday and that, save having to get me heat gun out and emboss it. Easy hack. So there you go, I'll move all my rubbish. There we go, 1 crate made in 39 mins. Not bad. So there it is, and thank you so much for watching me. Don't forget to tune in for the next live tomorrow night. I shall be there watching. Might be a little late because I've got my exercise class tomorrow, but I'll definitely be there. And if you make one of these, let me know what you put in them. Alright. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.